Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 2018 Delaware Disc Golf Challenge, Round 2, Back 9. I'm Eagle McMahon, here with Jeff Korns, and together, we are Flying Corn Commentary.
How's it going today, Eagle?
Going pretty good. Are you excited for this Back 9?
Absolutely. I'm excited to see some of these players continue their shred through the woods out here at Iron Hill Disc Golf Course.
Absolutely. A few of these guys have had their troubles on the front nine. A little bit uncharacteristic for Barsby and Conrad. But MJ seems to be putting on kind of a clean show throughout this, showing how he can dissect the woods.
Absolutely. As we always say, he's a wizard of the woods, and he's on one so far on this round.
Barsby opting for the forehand on this hole. It's 555 feet, par 5, and it's kind of a difficult hole off the tee because the tee shot is strange. You want to throw either a kind of high turning forehand like Barsby did, or kind of what James is doing right here, either a putter or mid-range that kind of has a soft landing to stay right in the middle there. Because if you start throwing a driver or something else, you might risk hyzering too fast and going left. And like Calvin right here, all these drives are really great.
Yeah, right in this tan bark area is kind of the landing zone that you're hoping to get to. Hole 9 is actually one of the easiest holes on the course out here. I believe it is our second easiest hole. And for a par 5, it's on the shorter side, but it's technical and it has a lot of aspects to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you can get your first shot probably past these kind of railroad ties, then it kind of opens up the possibility of getting the eagle.
Absolutely. You can kind of get a look at a flex forehand, even a flip-up backhand shot, but anything gets down the fairway almost into this area about 100 feet short of the basket, and you're looking at getting up and down for a pretty easy birdie.
Yeah, both shots that Calvin and MJ threw didn't get all the way down the fairway, but they're right in the middle, and they should have a pretty simple time getting up and down.
This looks like Greg ripping on one of his Scorpiuses, flexing it over a bit, and getting a good chunk up there. It looks like it could just be an up and down from there.
He was definitely trying to bite off distance and potentially give himself an eagle look on that shot. But he set up for a fairly easy birdie.
As you can see on this hole, it doesn't necessarily require a ton of distance. You have James Conrad just moving his way down the fairway with an AVR.
Yeah. I'm a bit surprised to see James going with an AVR from there when he is in a pretty good position to maybe push a little bit more and try for the eagle.
He might be worried about the footing on some of that mushier tan bark area, maybe really crushing on a huge shot, and just wants to keep it in the middle.
James is a smart guy. I'll trust his decision.
Absolutely, and he's putting it up there on the green.
So Calvin looks to be in the distance where he's opting for a forehand. A little forehand Firebird. Just a little easy pitch up right there. No problem. And Barsby, he's probably trying to throw this in. Oh, he's definitely trying to throw that in. Does it roll? Or he's a little ways out, but if he continues to putt how he's been the past couple weeks, then that's no problem. Good birdie by him.
MJ from pretty close to the same spot looking to convert.
And just by the way it looks, we're going to have a star birdie on this one. As you really should with those tee shots. If you're
Absolutely.
in the middle, you really should be able to bite off enough distance on your second shot to get a pretty easy look for birdie. James up and in.
James converts a good one too, and
good showing by the card there. James showing off his freestyle skills.
I hear James Conrad just likes to do a little juggling before the round to get his body warm, and I've seen him do some pretty impressive things, just juggling anything that comes into his hands.
Absolutely. Keep your coordination sharp, and you need to be coordinated out on the disc golf course. We have hole 9. Or wait, a little typo. I'm sorry. Hole number 12. And it's a par 4. And how far is it, Jeff?
This hole right here, it's 600 feet. This is hole 11.
Hole 11. I'm sorry, guys.
We're looking to just get down the fairway. It's a pretty straight, long shot. You can bite off a lot of distance, but you don't need to throw a super fast disc to do that. You just want to be controlled and stay down this middle path.
Yeah, it is a slight downhill, so it's really about getting something on the right angle and just letting it glide down the fairway. You'll see James throw a Thunderbird here. This is his most overstable Thunderbird, and he's just ripping on it, and it catches that first tree left side and just shoots him straight left. He's not going to be in a very good spot right there. Calvin ripping on fairway driver of sorts.
I'm going to guess for him that's probably a T-Bird or something of sorts.
TL3?
Maybe. He's been ripping on that disc a lot in the woods.
That's
and
his,
it's pretty straight.
signature disc, right?
The Glow T-Bird 3 is his signature disc, I believe.
James kind of hitting early again.
Bit off some distance, though, and on a shorter par 4, you're hoping to get up and down, but Calvin's going to have more work to do. And
yeah, Calvin, that's an unfortunate hit right there. He's kind of been struggling when he's in the rough, but
that's a pretty good shot to get him pretty much at circle's edge to have a look to save his par. This is MJ's second shot here.
Oh, that's so good.
Wow.
It's such a small gap. Like, if I was in that position, I probably would have not opted for that line.
Yeah, but the Wizard of the Woods just continues to hit lines and pure gaps.
Yep. He's on a whole new level, so I'm not going to question what he does. Barsby trying to throw in again. He actually had a throw-in on this hole the first day.
He did. Greg's thrown one in. A big shot on every... In the last 3 tournaments he's played, he's had a throw-in of over 100 and something feet, I believe.
It's impressive.
Picking up eagles and picking up birdies everywhere he goes.
Calvin with a great par save.
Yeah, he probably feels like he worked a little harder for that par than he would have liked to.
MJ taking his time and drying off his putter. As you see, he pulls up the sleeve on his shirt. It's kind of sticking to it, and that might have been the reason why he missed that putt. We are in the eastern part of the United States, and it does get pretty sticky.
It is
pretty
humid.
sticky, so you got to worry about your clothes sticking to you. Barsby from probably about 20 feet or so.
Just getting that in there for birdie.
And MJ in for his par. Next we have hole number 12. And it is 520 feet. And it's actually a very difficult tee shot to where you kind of want to throw an overstable mid-range or driver, flat or a little bit of turnover, but a turnover that fights back really quick, and have it fade left. And Barsby just kind of doesn't get all of it off out of the hand and kind of finds itself fading left a little too fast.
MJ's just tossing this Comet right up into the fairway, and he's a little bit pushing the deep side, so he might have a awkward stance from over there, but nothing too difficult.
James throwing a Glow Gator. And
It's that one rock in the fairway that's a good point to aim at to know where to turn left at, but
it's a bad rock to hit.
he shouldn't.
I don't think it would have affected him too much.
No, he probably wouldn't have gotten too much of a skip, but he'll be in an okay place to have a look at the basket. Calvin throws a great shot here.
Yeah, that looked really good. I'm not sure what he threw, but whatever it was put him in a great spot.
Greg's going with the high forehand.
High forehand scramble town. Ooh.
He's gonna have to scramble for his par.
He never left scramble town. He never got on the freeway.
James Xavier gets a little bit of a kick left. He might be towards the circle's edge on the left side up there.
MJ in a spot where he can throw a slow turning Anheuser shot out with his banger and
just waiting for that to sit.
Carry down the right side. He'll have a putt. Uphill putt from probably a good 35 feet or so.
Calvin with the standstill, nice and simple.
He's getting some of the fade back left. That's a good shot. He's up above the basket, putting down at it. Probably just inside the circle. And we find Barsby.
Still trying to find his way out of Scramble Town.
Yeah. And I think he found the on-ramp onto the freeway.
Yeah.
He's out of town now.
He's got a bit of a look to get into Parville. James Conrad from about 37 feet.
And
that's a great putt.
Yeah, he's in birdie town now.
Calvin and MJ, I believe, discussing. Oh, looks like it's going to be Barsby outside.
So Barsby.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Barsby has that somewhat of a pitch putt, and that tree just seems to be right in where his line he was looking for.
Barsby missed the exit to Parville and went a little bit too far down the freeway to Bogey Town, unfortunately. Oh boy, this hole just takes you many different places. All right, MJ up the hill, looking for his birdie. Just passed it. He got a good shot, but really kind of just carried down the right side a little bit too long. Taps in his par.
Well, I like to see this putt from James Conrad again. He just threads it in between those trees and knocks that shot in.
Now, moving on, we have hole 13, 360 feet, par 3. It is the second to last par 3 remaining on the course. And the tee shot is very strange. What James is doing right here, he's trying to throw a gator and rip on it flat as far as possible and fade left, but it looks like he caught one of those guardian trees and just kind of killed all of his hopes of getting to the basket. But ideally, just want to get something that pushes straight as long as possible and then fades left very hard.
Calvin looks like he might be going back to this blue disc from the last hole and forcing that over, and hopefully it's going to be nice and overstable, and it looks like it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. The only thing I can think of is maybe like an AVR X3.
That looks almost a little faster and overstable for a putter. I'm thinking maybe a mortar or a gator.
A mortar could be a good
Maybe
good
even
guess.
a Cayman from him.
Cayman.
I know he does like his some of his beadless discs.
Rock. Who knows?
Nice stable mid-range though, I think there.
If you see him out on the course, you can go ask him.
Greg, he's going to an eagle here, I believe. He's telling me these stiff, opaque ones are really overstable, and he's a little early left.
It's a very difficult shot to execute. Have it stay straight and then finish so hard left. Usually when you want to get something to go this far left, you're throwing hyzer out of the hand.
James has a long look and gets up close to the basket. We'll see what Greg can do from over here.
Greg probably running it again. He'll be close enough for a fairly easy 3.
MJ's got a nice look here, and just a little left.
Doesn't fully connect. A little bit left side. That disc was a Cayman. I saw the stamp.
Was it?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense now. Looks like Calvin's putting from just inside the circle.
Oh, Calvin.
Oh, and he just can't get it up, unfortunately. Kind of sad because, like, you really want to take advantage of your 2 looks out here when you get them.
Absolutely.
A deuce does not come very often.
Now, there's only 4 par 3s out on this entire course, and all those par 3s are very demanding holes.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Has Calvin gotten a 2 yet?
I'm not sure if Calvin's gotten a 2 yet.
Sorry for our short-term memory, but if he has not, then this next hole is his next option to get one. And this next hole is number 14, 370 feet, par 3. And it's basically throw a fairway driver or a really hard mid-range as straight as you can. And I think James right here went with a T-bird and absolutely pinned it. So James will not go without a 2 this tournament.
Yeah, he showed us how this hole should be executed properly. Calvin's throwing right up the middle, too, on a great line. And Calvin's circle's edge deep, and he's got to look for a 2.
Yeah, there's 2 great opportunities for 2s. Opportunity. Ooh, I like it.
MJ smoothing one up the center, getting a little flex on it, and he's just looking for a skip to get closer.
Yeah, he looks like he got a little skinny through there, but you're never gonna complain getting skinny. I would know.
Got Greg Barsby throwing one up the center as well. Maybe fading a little earlier than he would have liked.
He'll find himself probably like 55. This is a pretty good ways away still.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised that didn't stick Heiser into the basket on the right side, but
MJ from ways away. And just
high.
a bit high, unfortunately.
MJ has just been all over the basket on these past couple holes. We'll see if he can dial that putting in and convert on some of these birdie opportunities.
And Calvin gets a 2.
He's converted.
Makes up for that last hole.
Getting a 2 out here does feel very good. There's a few opportunities, but they're out there.
Absolutely. Yes, and these two par 3s, you definitely would like to get them, but you're not really too upset if you miss them just because they are probably some of the more difficult holes on the course relative to par.
They are some of the more difficult holes relative to par. They definitely require a lot of good shots out of you. And unlike most of these holes where you can scramble and maybe get up and down for your birdie from the rough, these ones you need to just throw one good shot from the tee pad.
Now moving on, we have hole number 15, 440 feet, par 4. And this is probably one of the easier holes on the course. It's pretty simple. If you can get up to this flat spot, then you have a very short approach to the basket. A really good backhand or an epic forehand will get you to an eagle look.
Absolutely, Eagle. This is this is the easiest hole on the course. It averages 0.6 strokes below par, And we'll see Calvin take a little bit of a more unorthodox route. He throws this wide hyzer up a path, and he's got a pretty good look up the fairway.
Yeah, that hyzer is absolutely kind of there. It's pretty open most of the way, but then as you get closer to the basket, then it kind of just turns into a wall of trees. But if you carry that much distance, you can find yourself in a position to be close enough to the basket to kind of scramble.
Absolutely. It is the most open fairway for 400 and around 400 feet of the hole, but then your last little chunk is pretty wooded as you're coming back off of the rough.
MJ kind of hits a little bit early, and the one thing you want to try to avoid is being low on the hill because it just makes your approach that much harder. And from where MJ was, that's a pretty good attempt to get near the basket.
Definitely, you're gonna feel good getting up to the basket and giving yourself a long look. Whether you convert it or not, it's just another chance to score on this course. And
Barsby throwing an easy standstill putter to right under it.
James Conrad's got a little bit of a jump putt here, and we'll see if he can maybe drop one of these big ones in.
And he just throws it a little bit early left. Calvin has a really nice shot as well. This is from the hyzer. He's closer than James. And if he gets a good line on it, nope.
You'll see a lot of trees over in that area that Calvin had to battle back through to come back onto the fairway. But he found the most open part of the fairway.
MJ with the opportunity to get a birdie, and nope.
Calvin's got a little bit of work to do for his birdie still. Looks like he's about at circle's edge.
Lining up his putt, making sure he's focused.
And that's a great putt from Calvin.
Yeah, you don't really want to miss that birdie, especially with that good of a drive.
Absolutely. There's definitely you want to run some of those putts because the Eagles are far and few between on this course, but you don't want to get too greedy and leave yourself coming up with just a par after a great drive.
Yeah, on courses like these, if you throw a really great drive, you almost feel entitled to a birdie in a weird kind of way. So if you don't get that birdie after that great drive, then it can kind of mess with your head a little bit. So that was hole 15. And now we're going to be moving on to 16, the home stretch of the course. And we have some epic finishing holes for you guys.
Absolutely. There's some challenging ones up ahead, and 16's the start of that.
Hole 16 is 610 feet, par 4. You want to throw either a slow turning backhand to play kind of to the right side of the fairway, or if you have it, forehand plays really well to this as well. But it's all about really what you're comfortable with. Calvin gets through the initial gap, has some angle on it. He's going to leak a little bit left, and it kind of pinches his options a little bit. He might have some fairways to kind of scramble through.
Greg's going forehand off this tee because the right side of this fairway is the more open side, especially approaching the basket. And Greg looks like he's center cut.
Yep. Nothing to complain about there. Pretty much perfect. MJ, I'm not sure what he's throwing. It's something he has great control with. He wants it to sit. That's good. Let's see what the wizard cooks up from here.
Ooh, he'll be hitting one of the guardian trees as he approaches the green.
Yeah, he just wanted that kind of slow fading hyzer through that gap, but pulls it a little bit right.
Greg's throwing a great forehand turnover up here, and he's towards circle's edge. He'll have a look at his birdie.
He's hitting some rocks pretty hard with his old school discs. I'm sure he's not too happy with that.
Yeah, I think Greg was saying that he takes some of his older discs out of the bag. He doesn't want to chunk some of those old CE discs out on this course, and You'll see a lot of rocks everywhere, including the basket being on some.
Yeah, hitting rocks on some of your old favorite discs that have some dollar signs next to them. It can be a little bit taxing on you mentally.
Absolutely. Even when you're throwing shots that you might just be laying up, or even good shots in the fairway, you could find some rougher parts of the course. MJ throws a nice up shot there.
Yeah, pretty easy tap in.
Calvin's got a long look, probably about 48 feet.
Right in that ballpark. If you can connect.
Gives a good bid. A little left, though.
Barsby just from circle's edge. Just doesn't pull it right enough. You can tell he's getting a little bit frustrated. But then he remembers he's the world champion, and then all that worry goes away.
Absolutely. James Conrad's looking to come back here. A little deep at the basket. Took his time and
Nice.
converted. That's a nice one to get.
Absolutely. I don't remember. Is this the putter he used at Worlds?
I don't think it is. I think he maybe retired his world championship putters. I know he had a pink De La Viega stamped KC AVR that he tapped in his winning putt with.
I know which one you're
And
talking about.
He's been
yeah.
throwing that this round. It's his like floaty putter he likes to give some long runs with. But that green one looks like a new one to me.
I don't know. Would you retire putters if you won a world championship with them?
I think I would. I know Paul Macbeth, I've seen his collection. He actually has retired all of his putters that he's won a PDGA major with, and he's got them all in a bin. He's said he wants to do something one day, put them all in put them in shadow boxes or something like that, and put them in his Frisbee Hall of Fame. He might be making.
All right. We have hole 17, which I believe to be I think the second hardest hole in the course.
So hole 17 is the second hardest hole in the course. It's a par 5.
And it's the longest hole in the course also, clocking in at 860 feet off the tee. It's really about going straight, not hitting anything, biting off distance, and then kind of just taking what the course gives you from there. You really don't want to be off the fairway too far and minimize your chances of biting off distance on the next shot.
And Calvin gets a nice little touch back into the fairway there, and
because with this hole, as soon as you stop progressing forward, that's when the big numbers start happening.
And absolutely, this is probably this is definitely the hardest par 5 on the course. There's plenty of opportunities to pick up big numbers if you stray from the center. It's a long one too. It might not seem like 800 feet almost, but you're gonna have to throw some smashes to get up there.
And actually, just from like a hole design standpoint and also like an aesthetic standpoint, this is my favorite hole on the course. It is absolutely amazing. Just the technicality of it, how the basket, as you'll see, is up on this huge mound. It's just very picturesque and a beautiful hole coming down the stretch.
And James isn't going to chip off as much distance as he'd like to on this hole. He's going to have a lot of work to do if he wants to get up and down for his birdie. That big mound up there, almost the entire circle fits on top of that mound. So it's big, and it's a tough one to get your approach shot up there even.
Calvin looks to unleash his shot, and he just catches a tree, but he'll still be in a pretty decent location.
Yeah, shouldn't be too out of position to get up and down from there, but
Even if you're kind of close, the approach still is tricky to get up on that mound since there are some guardian trees.
and hitting any of those trees or catching a weird angle, you can roll all the way back down that mound that you worked so hard to get up.
Absolutely. It's James right here. Might be going with another two-finger forehand shot.
Oh, looks like maybe a little thumber action from
Okay.
James Conrad. And
A one-finger.
MJ with another forehand over here.
When I say one finger, thumb's not a finger, right?
I think your thumb's. I mean, you say that you have 5 fingers on a hand. I guess
Okay,
your thumb's one of them.
Okay. Okay. Just checking. James reaching for his. You gotta find a nickname for this disc.
We'll have to talk to James about nicknaming
it's
this
something
disc.
Green tea. It's definitely a green tea flavored disc.
James looking to just step through these trees. He throws his shot. And
Could it be like Jasmine or something?
might be.
Jasmine's a good one.
I like it too.
That's what I'm gonna start calling it, and that's what you guys should start calling it too. Barsby, probably from a good, I'd say 220, 250 feet out.
And one of those guardian trees we talked about is keeping him off the top of the mound. He'll have a look from outside circle 1 to.
This is difficult because you can throw a really good shot and turn. Looks like he got a good gap. He'll be right up there on the mound with a pretty easy tap in for his birdie.
Yeah, anything up on top of the mound, it gets pretty unobstructed once you get up there. And wow, MJ almost tosses it in there.
I'm sure he'd like that to happen. That'd be a really sweet throw-in on this hole.
Absolutely. James is lining up a long putt with Jasmine here.
Look at that focus.
Little James Conrad step putt.
And Jasmine's up and in. Good job by James.
Absolutely. Greg's got a look from just halfway up the mound.
Greg pulls it a little bit right and a little bit short.
Luckily didn't catch edge there and find its way down.
And this is for Calvin's birdie.
Nice
Great birdie
by
for
Calvin.
him. MJ tapping in. And Barsby tapping in as well. Look at that. That's a long range putt right there.
He knew that was in
just
most
a
of its
beautiful trajectory. So, coming down, we have hole 18, 630 feet, par 4, and the average on this hole is 4.22. So it averages over par.
Yeah, this is the hardest hole on the course. It requires a lot out of you. There's a tough approach to the green. There's not a super ideal landing zone, honestly, on this hole. But you want to throw something down the middle. If you can flex it all and get some finish left, that's the direction you want to head. And that'll work for James. It'll be pretty okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of distance off that. I think he threw something more overstable than most people normally would and actually got over on it.
I think that's that blue destroyer that James likes to rip on. Greg going in early.
That was not what Greg is looking for.
No, and he's still a little bummed about that throw.
MJ, don't know what he's throwing.
I believe this might be one of his cranks.
Crank would be a good assumption.
And
And just missing those trees. And he hits a rock and sends it straight up.
And that's a good landing zone, actually. It's a good spot to get to.
And Barsby and Scrambletown once again.
Greg still got work to do. Trying to
He
get
actually
back to Par Town.
He has a line, and he rips it through the trees. That doesn't hit anything.
Wow.
He'll find himself with a putt.
Yeah, he's got probably a 65-footer. Look at the basket.
I mean, realistically, that's not what you want to try to save your par, but it is something.
MJ's got a little hyzer over here with one of his Comets. This is one of MJ's most common shots that he'll throw, and he came up a little short.
the Comet Glidezer, combining glide with hyzer. It's a term that I use quite a lot in my everyday disc golf life.
Absolutely, I hear it all the time. Calvin looks like he's lining up the forehand flex, just trying to get up to that basket and give himself a look.
I think it'll be just inside the circle right there, actually.
Yeah, he'll have a little something from over there. James going back to the thumber.
That's a tomahawk.
Or we're on tomahawk this time,
Yeah.
I guess. Maybe. Wow.
He's really getting jiggy with it. He pulls it a little bit right.
Looks like it got a bit of a kick off of a tree, and he'll probably just have an like a little up shot from there. Not too much of a look from underneath those trees.
I mean, he had such a long-range drive. And Barsby, and that's outside the circle, off the cage. That's not world champ love right there.
No, but he is still a world champ, so he's not too worried, I don't think.
Maybe his letter of acceptance hasn't been accepted yet for world champ love. So
that might be the case.
It might come around at his next event. They need to approve it.
Wow, James had more of a bit at that than I thought he'd get. We'll see. Most likely it'll be MJ from outside the circle.
And puts that up and in.
That's a wonderful birdie to convert to finish your round.
Honestly, you want to get this birdie, but when you step up to it, you're not really thinking that it's a very good possibility.
Yeah, it's kind of one that you just hope that's presented to you if you get a good lie down the fairway and are able to throw a good upshot.
Yeah, more likely you don't want to bogey it. That was a great putt by Calvin.
Absolutely. He looks like he was outside the circle, being outside of Greg here. And
Greg finishing with a double trouble. He's not too happy with that, but
James Conrad's going to tap in the par and finish off this third card group.
yeah, that was the second round at the Delaware Disc Golf Challenge. Third card, and MJ giving a little shrug right there. I'm not sure what that was, but he is happy that he converted the birdie. But guys, I want to thank you all for watching. This was Tea Time Disc Golf. If you have the opportunity, please like this video, share it, and subscribe for more of the content.
Absolutely. This is Eagle McMahon and Jeff Korns out here flying corn commentary, and thanks for joining us today, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you keep on dreaming out there.